Hello, ladies and gentlemen. It's your boy, Brother Gaming HD here. In today's video, Bungie has technically costed PlayStation about $765 million implement loss for both Destiny and Marathon after they have underperformed. To be honest, it really is not a surprise that this is literally happening to Sony, especially after they acquired Bungie for about $3.6 billion back in 2022 and have not managed to turn over a profit after the acquisition. And the fact that it's been about 4 years, give or take, since this acquisition took place, it just pretty much shows that Bungie and those who love Bungie, I understand you love Bungie for so many reasons. One, they are the original creators of Halo for what they are. But at the same time, you also have to understand that this ain't the same studio that made Halo what it was back in the day. What made Destiny what it was back in the day. This Bungie is a completely different breed compared to what they were back then. Developers come, developers leave. Head developers end up staying or leaving or end up getting promoted later down the line. And it just is a interesting thing to see that PlayStation still wants to do something with Marathon and Destiny as well in some shape or form, but it's costing them money, guys. At this point, it's like they should just cut their losses and pretty much just do something with the intellectual properties, which I can understand that Marathon is Sony's future bread and butter, but it's no surprise that Marathon has been performing poorly ever since its launch. It's no surprise that this has been happening for a little while. And the thing is, though, if you just look at it from their side, they've lost a shit ton of money. They have, and that's not a good sign. The fact that Sony and PlayStation have put so much money and so much effort into this studio alone, and the fact that they haven't managed to turn over any positive net worth in the past 4 years, that is not a good sign. That is basically the sign of a failed partnership, a failed acquisition. And it's no surprise that people who are big fans of Bungie, who love the Destiny franchise, has basically gone to straight shit, to straight hell, pardon my French, but that is true. And on the other hand, we also got to look at the fact that there's what's the word I'm looking for? That Marathon has not been performing very well either. The fact that it's managed to drop a good portion of its players within about almost 2.5 months or so, give or take, is not a good sign for a brand new intellectual property like Marathon. Even though Marathon is an extraction shooter, you're really playing with fire there because that is more of a niche type of game within the gaming industry as a whole. But at the same time, look at Arc Raiders. Arc Raiders did a phenomenal job. Sure, their player numbers are not as what they were back then. We're already past the 6 mark for Marathon, and the fact that they're still doing decently well with their player base on a consistent basis is a good sign for them, but that doesn't mean that Marathon should try to chase this, try to chase the bread, try to chase the money. Because at the end of the day, Sony has basically burned a lot of profit and a lot of effort into making Marathon what it is currently, and the returns are not a good thing. That is not a good sign of a game being successful, a game being healthy, and the fact that they still want to support Marathon is something that I would not stand behind, to be honest. I would just cut my losses, cut my profit, have to sacrifice some changes here and there for the studio at Bungie in order to make dead ends meet. But at the end of the day, this is a multi-million-dollar company of some shape or form. And the fact that they are chasing this live service trend has technically costed them a lot of money. If we look at games before Marathon, if we looked at Concord, Oh Lord, Concord was a living nightmare for what it was. I think it lasted like what, not even 2 months? And that's not a good sign. The fact that Sony is still dipping their toes within this live service model is such a high gambling risk that you're putting tons of money and tons of resources into this live service game. And for what? To turn over a profit? There's a reason why extraction shooters are such a niche genre within the gaming industry, within the gaming community as a whole. It's because it's a high risk, high reward type game that rewards players for going in with the best gear that they got and hoping to extract with about the same amount of gear as they came in with or greater, or just end up farming resources to improve their next run. And that's the whole purpose of an extraction shooter in general. But Marathon itself has not been doing very well, and the player base has not been very healthy as a result. If you can go look at Steam as a whole, it pretty much just shows that Marathon itself is just technically not that type of oomph to have that staying power and willpower to keep Marathon going in order for PlayStation to keep the lights on for this game, for this, what's the word I'm looking for? This initial franchise that they're trying to make normalized within the live service model. But it's at the end of the day, it's like I said earlier in this video, it's just costing them money, burning their resources and burning their time and effort into making a good live service game. And for what? So they can maximize their profits, impress their shareholders. What's going to happen when the shareholders end up seeing the results of this marathon game? Investors are going to pull out, shareholders are going to question PlayStation as a company, and they're going to pull some funds out because of the fact that they can't trust PlayStation and Sony to deliver a good live service product. And these big dogs, they're just looking like dumbasses answering to their boards and answering to their members that and their investors in general, and making themselves look like massive dumbasses. And for what? So they can make the biggest amount of money at the end of the month, at the end of the year, quarterly bullshit. But I don't think Marathon's gonna last very long. And for many, some people might call me a grifter, some people might call me a hater, but I kind of just see the writing in the wall, or not writing in the wall, writing on the wall, I should say. And it's just a matter of time to see how far they are willing to take this going forward and how much more money and effort they're willing to burn into Bungie and Destiny and Marathon as a whole as intellectual properties of PlayStation once more. But it's going to be an interesting time to see PlayStation, Sony, and Marathon, or Bungie, I should say, as a whole, see how they're going to come out of this on top. How are they going to turn things around, and pretty much what the future holds for these companies going forward? Like, what is the future for Sony and PlayStation? What is the future partnership for Bungie and PlayStation going forward? And these past 4 years have been questionable. They have been rocky, and they are continuing to decline over time to the point of where PlayStation might pull the plug on Marathon. People love Marathon. Now, there's some people out there that love the game, love the place, love the gunplay, love the art style. There's so many things that people can pick and choose to love from Marathon. But it's just going to be another Concord. It's going to be another High Guard and many other games and many other live service that came before it. And look what happened to all those games. Even Hyperscape. Hyperscape is an old battle royale type game, and that game died off. Live service games aren't meant to last forever. PlayStation's just playing with fire and should just stick to what they know best. But it's been your boy, Brother Gaming H. Everybody, and if you are new to the channel, please don't forget to subscribe, like, hit the notifications so you never miss an upload, and please let me know what are your current thoughts on Marathon, and do you think it has the willpower to stay and survive for future content updates, as well as the future of PlayStation's and Bungie's partnership going forward? But it's like I said, it's been your boy, Brother Gaming, everybody, and I will catch you in the next one. Peace out and goodbye.